Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are tackling a massive, fundamental shift happening right now in the software development world. We're looking directly at this crazy transition from painstakingly hand-coding React applications line by line to this entirely new wave of instant AI code generation. It's completely transforming how developers work, and man, it is sparking an intense, widespread debate across the entire tech community. So I want to start by validating a very real anxiety out there right now. We need to ask the exact question sitting heavily on every front-end engineer's mind. Is it even worth diving deep into React internals anymore? Seriously, if artificial intelligence can just spin up components, manage your state, and spit out thousands of lines of code in literal seconds, why on earth should you spend months learning about the virtual DOM or complex hook dependencies or trying to avoid those dreadful use effect infinite loops? Honestly, it's a completely fair question. And the answer? Well, it's absolutely fascinating. To understand where we're at, we kind of have to look at how fast things have changed. Just a few short years ago, knowing React was an absolute superpower. If you understood how to write complex components and manage global state with Redux, you were essentially a tech wizard. Big tech valued you immensely. But today, AI has entered the chat, and it can write genuinely beautiful, perfectly styled Tailwind components in seconds. We're talking about an ocean of code generated instantly, creating this profound paradigm shift. But as we're going to see, generating instant code does not automatically equal shipping production-ready software. Which brings us to the 5-minute app myth. Let's deconstruct some of these viral AI coding claims. You know those 5-minute e-commerce apps or basic to-do lists you constantly see going viral online? They're actually giving developers a really dangerous, false sense of productivity. Think about it for a second. A prompt might build you a pretty storefront, sure, but it completely ignores secure user authentication, complex database schemas, payment gateway edge cases, even accessibility standards. Those 5-minute projects are frankly completely useless for a real-world application. True front-end engineering in a modern tech company is just not one prompt away. There's a vast amount of underlying engineering that a single prompt simply cannot capture. Because when you use AI to spin up a brand new project without having that deep technical knowledge yourself, you immediately hit some massive architectural pitfalls. First off, the AI generates highly generic architecture. It might just dump all your logic into one giant app.js file, rather than building sensible, reusable component hierarchies that can actually scale up. Second, and this is heavily concerning, developers just stop thinking deeply. When AI is spitting out files and automated commits, developers kind of stop caring about the underlying structure. It fosters this blind reliance on thousands of lines of completely unverified code. You are essentially building a house on a foundation you haven't even inspected. So let's talk about AI in production code and the harsh realities of existing projects. See, in an existing project, the AI completely lacks the deep business context that's hidden within your codebase. Every matured project out there has quirks, legacy tech debt, and really unique business logic. The AI doesn't know about any of that. Because of this blind spot, trying to use AI to refactor an existing application is incredibly risky. It notoriously fails at consistency. For example, it might just completely ignore your existing Redux store, hallucinate a brand new use context hook, and randomly inject it. That invisibly breaks dependencies across your entire app, and you might not even realize it until the whole thing crashes in production. And this brings us to a really harsh wake-up call. AI can confidently generate garbage code. This is arguably the single most dangerous aspect of coding with modern language models. It doesn't hand you code with a little warning label. No, it produces broken, useless logic incredibly fast and with the unwavering confidence of a seasoned expert who's just gaslighting you. If you aren't inspecting that output line by line with a highly critical eye, it absolutely will ruin your application. So let's just weigh the reality here for a second. AI definitely has its pros, right? It makes life way easier by letting you skip writing all that boilerplate from scratch. It helps you debug those cryptic error messages so much faster. And honestly, you no longer have to memorize every single piece of syntax. I'm completely aligned with that. But look at the cons. Relying on it blindly introduces major security vulnerabilities. It creates huge performance messes, like generating functional components that unnecessarily re-render 100 times a second simply because the AI didn't actually understand your dependency arrays. And like we just talked about, refactoring large interconnected apps becomes a total minefield. All of this highlights why React still matters. It's all about taking control of the code. Because AI can generate garbage at such incredibly high speeds, having a deep internal understanding of React is actually more necessary today than ever before. You have to take control. If you don't dictate the flow, it's just going to create a sprawling mess in your project. And here's the real kicker. If you ask the AI to fix the mess it just made, it usually makes it even worse by adding more convoluted layers. No way. You have to be the one to step in, identify the structural problem, and tell it, stop, extract this logic into a custom hook and memoize this child component. You must be the one commanding the best practices. To succeed today, you kind of have to completely change your mindset. You absolutely cannot view AI as this senior developer that you just blindly follow. Instead, you need to treat your AI assistant exactly like an intern. Okay, an intern that types incredibly fast, sure, but still an intern who needs every single line of code reviewed by a strict, knowledgeable senior engineer. You dictate to the AI. You're the one telling it, hey, this is the project standard, or this right here is a security flaw. Do this, don't do that. Moving on to the developer's new focus, the skills you need to master beyond just syntax. Because these are the specific domains you absolutely must master now. You need to focus heavily on system design. We're talking understanding networking, offline caching capabilities, and the high-level architecture that an AI simply cannot contextualize. You must be the one deliberately controlling the component architecture. You have to take personal responsibility for security and performance optimization. And finally, you have to become genuinely excellent at writing highly detailed guiding prompts. It's simple. The better context you give the AI, the less garbage it produces. So back to our original question. Is it worth learning React? The answer is a resounding yes, but the goal has entirely changed. Look, people who don't know React and just try to prompt their way to an app, they will ultimately fail to build robust production-grade software. However, combining a deep foundational knowledge of React's internals with the raw speed of AI, that right there is the ultimate modern superpower. You improve your own technical knowledge first, and then you use the AI as this high-speed lever to dramatically accelerate your output and efficiency. I'll leave you with this provocative thought to challenge how you approach your coding and learning journey moving forward. Really look at your current workflow. Are you gonna just blindly let the fast-typing AI intern run your project into the ground? Or will you put in the work to deeply understand your tools and step up as the senior engineer in the room? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me for this explainer today. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.